Right, hello everybody, good evening and welcome to this live coverage of the Moonriders Tour, Stage 3. And we are about to hit the start line. 49 riders currently online. This is Stage 3. And we are taking you around Lake Como in Italy. So this is the stage organised by Isidoro Panarese, one of the Moonrider members. Each Moonrider is contributing a stage of today's, or this 2-week event. So there's 7 stages in total. And look at this, we're off to a flying start already, straight away into a climb here of 5.7%. There's no messing around on today's stage. So today, stage 3, 7 stages in total. There's 2 flat stages, 2 hilly stages, and 2 mountain stages. And then there's an individual time trial next Thursday as well. So we've got individual competitions, team competitions. As you can see, today is very much a mountain stage. So already a little group of 20 here off the front. It's already getting split behind there. You can see the riders all the way back here, already strung out. We're going to pop back to me and we're going to work our way up. I'm in 46th position at 47. I've got a ZMS camera behind me for company. A couple more here as well. So let's work our way forward then. There's Jay Price and the Racio Racing kit. The Dutch rider, Pierre Courts. Desho here. These guys already a couple of gaps opening up. Bailey, alongside Kate Edie. 100 metres here behind Young, who's in the Team Tour 2000 kit. The team that I was riding for during the Echelon Racing Series. They've got Morato just ahead here. And then Matthias Fishback. Just ahead, Alex Plager from Racio Racing. Peter Austin from OTR Blue. Still there from RGT Sweden. I know that they are in the team competition, so we'll check out the team competition standings in a moment. Cheers, Rob. So much for my hope for an easier start until the climb in the next session. So that's Rob Miller. He's going to be joining the final evening slot. There are 4 slots per day. So we jump forward now to the next little group on the road. Here's Timo Achenbach, one of the organisers of the competition, the Moonriders. He's got Dickerson there, and Escape from OTR, and Mr. Cabramanca just ahead of him there. Their numbers go a little bit into the red. There's been a few discussions on the Discord group about the colour red and how that shows on the screen, but of course the commentators will have to find a new colour choice if they change it. Going into the red, maybe come going into the blue or going into the green is, oh, maybe Capramanca there just waiting for these riders to come together. So a few little groups here. Look at that, Ralph Sonneval, the RGT Sweden rider. Alcani there, just off to the side of the road. The Italian rider. I think we saw him in one of the earlier stages. And then just ahead here, Simon Miller from SDW. I know that Simon has been recovering recently from the dreaded COVID. Certainly not ideal. Just going to have a quick... I can just get us a bit more... There we go, that's a bit better. So yeah, Simon, he's also recently been off to Dubai, I think it was, with the family, but also did the Grand Fondo Dubai over there as part of the UCI Grand Fondo series. And Simon is organising a short Friday Frenzy series. It's coming back in April for a few weeks. So look for more details of that coming up on Discord. So Paul and Moti from 3R in here today. So a shout out from TC, which I believe is Tim Cook, the road captains of the Team Time Trial team. The R3R Speedwagon, not Speedwagon, sorry. Credence Clearwater Revival, both of those R3R teams. They've got a number of teams. Right, let's move back up. Simon's been caught and passed there by a few of these riders. We hit 10% slopes. So this first part of the course, see we've got a initial climb. Jump ahead to this little group. And there's Moti just ahead there in 20th place. So there's this initial climb, which is the steeper of the two climbs. Around about 8 to 10% average gradients for this section. Then you can see it levels off a little bit. Bit of green, or a lot of green, a little bit of blue. Then another steep red section, where again it's 8 to 10%, a couple of little spikes over that. So that will take us up to around about 10.5 kilometres. And then there's a nice recovery section, 5 kilometres there, dark blue. And then the sort of light green, light blue, nice downhill section where these riders can try and get a little bit of recovery before hitting that final climb, which is fairly long. That runs from about 17 kilometres in to 26 kilometres, so 9-kilometre climb. But it's not quite as steep, probably averaging closer to 7%. Gradient varying between a couple of spikes of 10, but generally between 6 to 8%. So will be a little bit easier, a little bit more drafting on that bit. We've seen some earlier times of around about 1 hour and 12 minutes, been the quickest time so far today. So we'll be keeping an eye out. That'll be the target for the riders at the front here. We just see this little group, quite a nice sized little group. They'll be looking to work together once they get over the top of this little climb. Always get that benefit of riding in a pack when you're on the flatter and downhill sections. So always good to have a wheel to ride with. You can see here up to 11.5% then. The steeper section. One of the steeper slopes of today's course. You can just see over on the right hand side of the screen we've got our little rolling advert there. Currently advertising the World and VCN World and National Championships. They're coming up this weekend. Please do go check those out and sign up. They should be a good bit of fun. As it just switches on to the PRT race, which is also this evening, which Riley is covering. Right, back to the racing then. We've got Van der Peer here, who's overtaken a couple of riders there. We've missed Kevin Moat with 3R Moti. Just behind him, Andrzej Krajewski as well from Rasio Racing. We've got here Van der Peer and then Greg Barnett from the STW Lunatics. They are doing quite well in the team competition. So we'll bring you the team competition. Currently the pedallers are in first place. We just saw Daniel Neugebauer on the road as well. He's giving a little wave as we come through these little switchback sections. You can see the road there going up into the distance. We'll be heading up there soon enough. There it is, the pedallers currently at the top of the team standings. With a small lead over the STW Lunatics. Followed by Team R3R, then the Moonriders, RGT Sweden in 5th, the Satellite Riders in 6th, and then the Galaxy Girls in 7th. So Team 3R looking quite good with Robert Lyons setting a good time earlier today. And Christoph Contant from the Pedallers finishing 3rd in the earlier race. So that's here's Daniel Neugebauer in this little group. Alfreden, leading now Swedish rider. Not sure if he's riding for RGT Sweden or the Galaxy Girls. But sitting comfortably in this little group. And here's Dave Blodgett then of Restart Racing. Also one of the riders involved with some of the dual verification and e-bio passport, trying to promote fair riding as he comes up here and passes, catches Julian Fussell, Peter Brookwebble. Peter riding for STW in this tour. He's ridden for OTR in the past. So now finding a few legs. Catching a couple of riders up and he's hunting down Paul Newton next. But you're right, Rob, these STW riders, they have a good mix in their squad. 4 on the road here that we've seen. We'll keep heading up and we'll see we can see there Rocket Roy Neild further up, currently in 8th place. It's Kalkani. Whoa, suddenly shoots up at 14 watts per kilo on the right. I'm just going to go up to this. Look at this, look. This is not quite sure what's happening here, but he's absolutely... We're talking about Rocket Roy. Rocket Kalkani here. 956 watts. 0 cadence. I think that might be a little bit of a glitch there. So he's taking us up to the front of the race. And then we'll work our way back down through the riders. That's oh, right, and there you go. He pulls over at the front of the race. So here's our leading trio. We've got Henrik Maird, John Beams from the Pedallers. We've seen how they were so strong during Tour de Monde. These slopey events don't phase them at all. And then we've got Mr. Dene. Dene. He's in there for company. Not sure what his first name is, but the Pedallers currently 2 in the top 3, looking good for the team competition. And behind Jonty Williamson does well climbing for a rower. He's up in Kent, I think it is. Following him on Strava, you'll see him down in the boathouse. Putting out a nice 5 watts per kilo here. So here's Caruso. An Italian team, got the Italian colours on there. The Nazuri got Carpani behind. Looks like his power meter settled back down now, looking more responsive. And here's Keith Aitchison from OTR / SDW. He's on a temporary loan over to the SDW team. Doug Hart cheering on. John and Henrik there, making good progress up this first climb. 11% section. This bit is shorter than the final climb, but it is a bit steeper. You can see in that final climb there's some orange, there's even some yellow in there, so just indicating that it is not quite as steep as this first part of the route. The riders will get a little bit more speed. As Rocket Roy comes past Keith there. A reminder, please do like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, please do click that red button and give us a little thumbs up, please. It's always appreciated. So just behind we've got Schneever. It's Team Infinity kit. I've not seen this one before. It's a really nice looking kit. What looks like quite a goldy looking bike. A bit more gold than Richard Carapaz's bike, I would say. And these riders come up past Carpani. And here we are then, Walter Claes, currently the leading Moonrider on the road. Very good sprinter, also strong. He can put in a good effort on these mountain climbs. This is one of the organisers or co-organisers of this event. Got the stream on, I think, giving us a little wave there. It's nice to see a little bit of acknowledgement. He rounds that hairpin. Great. Oh, there's my name on the road, look, M-Lister. I won't be seeing that for a while. Right down the back. I'm just pedaling lightly on this, I'm not racing. For those of you who saw the BCN at lunchtime last Friday, I had the dreaded COVID diagnosis, the positive. So I've had that for 6 or 7 days. But I am now all clear. Tested negative this afternoon. So I'm back on the bike, just pedaling in the rear of this group. And by group, I mean the entire field. Just having a nice zone 2 ride, just getting those legs working again. Right, let's pop a bit further back. Here's Jürgen Janssens then. From the pedallers, the third pedaller on the road. He's going to be scoring a good number of points for the team today. And another Moonrider here, Mr. Isidoro. It's got a little bit of company. Full note in there for Team 3R. Dave Blodgett as well coming up on them. Brooke Gravel and Timo Achenbach. Not too far behind. So, right up at the front of the race then. Beams, Dene and Maird onto this slightly flatter connecting piece. between the first medium climb and the second shorter climb before that downhill before the third and final long climb. Looks like they're trying to work together, trying to just keep Jonty Williamson just at bay there. Come up this little 5-6% section. So the next climb starts at around about 9 kilometers. It's about 1,500 meters long. Again, averaging about 9 to 10%. Not quite as long as what we've just seen at the start of this race. But on that section, you do want to try get in contact, if you can, with a group. I think that's what Jonty Williamson's trying to do here. Because we've got that long middle section where you're going to have to get a little bit of respite. We're working in a group. You're going to gain time by being in that drafting, being in that group. So we might see some of these groups behind closing up a little bit where they're slightly bigger. Some of those riders who are currently out on their own might get caught, might lose a little bit of ground. So at the moment, these three now on the downhill section are pulling away from Williamson, who now finds himself 200 meters back. On this undulating terrain, it stretches out, it comes back, and you can see that next time up ahead then, and in the distance behind the rest of this climb. Always a little bit of trepidation when you see into the distance. You know, you've still got 18 kilometers to go. So there's 1.23 kilometers or 1,230 meters of climbing on this course today. We're around about a third of the way into that, just over a third. So here's Roy Neild, just opening up a little bit of a gap over Schneeber, Keith. First half of the pack now, all on this undulating connecting section. Front three riders are just about to hit the base of that second climb. Neild here, currently with 100 meters, just under those riders behind, and you can see Walter Place is trying to close up as well. He's closing onto the back of Keith and Schneeber. He was 30 meters back. We can see him there. Look how close he is now. Oh, he gives a little wave. And he's straight past. He's not hanging around. Got time to watch the stream. He's got time to put down the power there. You can see now how that gap is closing up a little bit to Neild ahead. It was 100 meters. Place has gone past, and now it's 40 meters. Let's see what happens on this next climb. Right, here's a little group. Well, just under 50 kilometers an hour. Newton, Janssens, Isidoro, and Blogic has worked his way up through the pack. He's passed a number of riders. It's just sitting on the back here. These guys aren't pushing too hard. There's the road up ahead. You can see a few riders up there in the distance. 300 meters ahead. They're on the climb. These guys are still on a little descent, so that gap will close up a little bit. Just see directly ahead of us, just to the left of those two rocks in the foreground, a rider just turning to the right, behind that tree, and there's another couple of riders on that road. That's Keith and Schneever. And then Roy Neal just ahead of them. See, there we are, there's a bunch of them just there. That's Place. These guys now, they'll be seeing them as well. There's a little bit more draft in here. Logic's on the front. Jansen's then saving 12 watts. 27, 28 watts at the minute. That's slope then per second was a little bit gentler, allowing the pace to pick up of these riders just to get a little bit more drafting benefit. And let's put back is Isidoro, 50 meters back from that group. No drafting benefit for him. We're going to skip past Kalkani. He's having all sorts of issues there with his trainer. There's another little group. 5 riders there. You've got Bussell at the back. Just trying to maintain some contact with that group. So this climb tops out at about 10.5 kilometers into the race. There's a 6 kilometer section where you really will benefit from being in a group. Right, I'm going to drop back all the way to me. Go behind me, here's a Recourt. Just ticking along nicely at 2 watts per kilo. There's me also ticking along nicely too, about 2 to 2.5 watts per kilo. Still on that first climb then. Trying to hunt down Mr. Young here from Switzerland. We jump into the trees. Here's Bailey. The female riders here. I'll have a quick look. Let's see if I can. This is Karen Bailey, currently sitting in, well, 4th place. But all of the other riders around her have already ridden today in terms of the females. So an opportunity for her to jump back up the leaderboard. She's riding for the Galaxy Girls. That's for her to score a hat full of points today for them. It's Jay Price riding in the Racia racing kit, which is available in real life. And yeah, it does look very good in real life. So remember the Racia team, I'm sure you'll be looking to get one of those with an order, and if you're a fan, also get one on order. Christophe Constant, good evening. Following along, cheering on his teammates. Christophe set a good time earlier for the pedallers. Matthias Fischbach, a regular viewer of BCN, so thanks for watching, Matthias. And a regular commentator as well. I'm sure if you're able to put some comments on this evening. Too far away from your phone or your keyboard, but we appreciate you tuning in and getting involved with the live streams. sure he always gives us a like, and I'm sure he's subscribed to the channel as well. There we are, nice little wave. Don't be shy. Keep a little bit of screen time there. You have a nice, decent ride over that first climb. Here's the chute. Currently on a slight downhill section. And a hunt down Sonneball here from RGT Sweden. Currently in 5th place overall in the team competition. There's Edie. There's a great view, isn't it? Seeing that road up ahead sweeping up. Getting glimpses of the riders up there already. The leaders are already over this bit of the climb. You can see on the road right on the side there. 8% gradient for 1.7k. These little groups. Dickerson here, just behind Murato. Nice and steady on this climb. There's Alex Plago, we saw him earlier, back with Fishback. Rassier Racing, I don't think, have an official entry into this event. Just using this as a nice ride, nice training. Comes past Grau, the Slovenian rider. It looked like he had a bit of a dropout looking at that power. Hopefully that's not cost him too much. Back up to Simon Miller. Anders Johnson, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I tended to ride a bit earlier, but life has changed for me a little bit now with my daughter. She's approaching 6 months. I tend to ride a little bit later in the evening now once she's gone to bed. It's all change. So here's Stellare, another Swedish rider. Your compatriots, I think. Anders Johnson. And Gabe just ahead. That's for Skater. Skater Gabe, if you follow him on Strava. Hey, Koenig. The King. Well, the King is struggling a little bit today. 27th place. Oh. There's Brzezinski, also from Rassier. Peter Austin just ahead of him. Oh! I think Brzezinski's seen that he's on the TV. Putting a little spurt there to come past Pete Austin. Wants to make sure he gets his 15 seconds of TV time. A little bit of an aggressive move there into the hairpin. So here's Mr. Moat. Kevin Moat from Team 3R. I think it's Kevin. Moti. So Team 3R, they're currently in 3rd place. Sorry, Kristin Moat. Should have known that. We've got Paul Newton further up the road. Robert Lyons, who's already ridden today and set a good time. So we're going to get their 3 riders scoring today. And in Mulligabauer, a little shout out from Christoph Contant. Yeah, all paddlers in this evening slot then. There's Van der Beer and Vermont. These two get a nice little bit of slingshotting off each other here. Got a bit of chance to rest on this downhill section. Here's Julian Russell Like he's been gapped a little bit on that previous climb. We saw he wasn't too far off those groups ahead. Fortunately, that gap now is just going to be increasing on this downhill section. Tries to catch up. Cabramanca here is keeping the power on as we hit this slightly flatter section. All right, let's jump to the front of the race because our leaders, here we are then, Beams, Dene and Med, all still together. Now 500 metres ahead of Williamson. They have just hit the base for this final time. Look at that rock face riding up right against them there. That's got to be intimidating. There's the 17 kilometres to go. Sorry, 17 kilometres completed. Little marker on the right hand side there. 8.8 kilometres to go. So we're around about 2/3 distance. 1/3 has been climbing, 1/3 has been downhill and steady. 630 metres done. Now we've got just over 8.5 kilometres remaining and around about 700 metres of climbing. Top levels off ever so slightly, but we're averaging 7-8% for this climb. So it's not too punishing. It's not the steepest that we've seen on these events. It's not the longest. In some ways that makes it harder because it's not just about being in your absolute limit. It does mean these riders probably have a little bit of a gap just at the top. We won't be riding right at 100%. I think we might see a little bit of action between these three riders. Will the pedallers be working together to try and get that win? Or will they be happy with a second and third, 2 podium spots? Knowing that they're riding high in the team competition as it stands. So coming into the day, they were in second place, 3 points behind the SDW Lunatics. Now looking down the table, the best placed SDW riders are currently in 8th and 10th place. Can't see where the third place peddler or SDW rider. Oh, there we go. Jürgen Janssen's 11th. He's in that group with Brooke Revel. So it looks. Oh, excuse me. Blame that on the COVID. So it looks like a bit further down the road could be a good day for the peddlers in the team competition. Currently, Henrik Maerd is in second place on the golden jersey. John Beams looks like he didn't have a very good stage one. Might be down in 9th place. But this competition, we follow Jonty Williamson here, is based on your 5 best results from 7 stages. So you can have a couple of bad days, you can miss a couple of days, and you won't be out of the competition. So 1 hour, 12 minutes, that's the target for our leaders if they want to score the best points today. With the leaderboards are combined across the different competitions. Well, across the different time slots, I should say. So you could set a good time on the midday lunch slot. And then the riders coming later on, they've got to try and beat that time. Let's drop back. There's Caruso, currently in 5th place. And then Clace, Nield and Blodgett. Blodgett's making more moves then. I saw him earlier, he was way down the field. I think maybe he had a slow start. maybe late into the pen, maybe got caught out and missed some of the draft in the early stages. Working his way back through, coming up through the field. Place from Moonriders, currently in 6th. Roy Neild of the SDW Lunatics in 7th. He's the best place for them at the moment. In 7th place. And then Blodgett just behind as we come round this very tight hairpin there. Look back down there, there are plenty of riders. Doesn't look like they're too far back. Doesn't look like those riders up ahead are too far ahead. These 6-7% sections. It's a longer ride than you think. So Clace just about to get caught by Neild here. Blodgett only 15 metres behind. It's going to be close as they head up towards the top as Neild goes on the inside of Clace around that corner. Schneever. See there, he's got a little bit of a gap behind him to Janssens and Keith Richardson. Here they are coming around that hairpin. They've got Paul Newton just behind. And then the next and third SDW rider on the road, Brooke Rowell. So that's your top 3 SDW riders. And then we've got a little group back here. A nice bit of gallows humour in the chat there. Kristen Moat, good shout. Glad the difficult sections are over. He's just starting the this final climb then. This little group of 3 doing all right together. Andrzej Kajewski there, not appreciating the British humour from Kristen Moat. They seem to be encouraging each other. Always good to see a little bit of banter and joking around. Riders out on the road. So back and back, Simons and Barnett here. A nice little group. And just behind Isidoro, just 20 metres back, trying to get back onto terms. I think he will. I think he's a good climber, Isidoro. That gap is closing slowly. So we could see himself leapfrogging these 3, getting himself a nice pack full of points. We'll zigzag our way up here up to Cabramanca. A little bit of no man's land here. Still got 8 kilometres to go, the Portuguese rider. Russell, well, he's closed up part of that gap, partly because of the changing gradient. His target now will be to hold off Vermont here, who has dropped Van de Peer. Until these 2 on that downhill section together. But they are currently split up on the road. Looks down there, there's Van de Peer, and Neugebauer is catching him. Still a long way to go on this climb. We hover around the 8 kilometre section as the riders come past. So, Peter Austin, here goes nothing. I don't know if that means he's about to launch an attack. Krzyzewski and Moat just behind him. Doesn't look like they're relishing the prospect of this climb. Looks like Mr. Austin's gel is working well there. He's blasted off. Opened up a gap here to Krzyzewski and Moat. See a few riders behind as well. Hey, Koenig. Looks like he's catching up. Moat then just hanging on to the wheel of Krzyzewski. Not much draft benefit at these speeds, if any. And here's A. Koenig coming around. Interesting power chart there by Graf. But here's Gabe. And Plager coming up strong, we can see him there. His numbers have gone red, we talked about that earlier. 5.2 watts per kilo. He's leaving Stellare and Miller behind. And he's about to come past Gabe. It's just behind, we see Miller. He went into the red for a second then. Catching up with Stellare. Right, let's jump back to the front. Here's Dene on this slightly flatter section. I say flat, 3%. Let's not kid ourselves. It kicks back up to 7.5%. Opened up a small little gap over Med. Slightly bigger gap back to John Beams then. As we pass 5 kilometres to go. 80% of the race done by distance. Averaging 8% gradient for the rest of this event. It's the 21 kilometre completed marker on the side of the road there. Looks like Med is content to leave Beams behind. Med is the better placed rider on the GC. As it hit another slightly flatter section. Dene keeps it on at over 5 watts per kilo. Med drops below 4. And that gap is opening a little bit. Med is being dropped here by Dene. But I don't see Dene in the results. So this could be his first race. He could do the next 4. That's still an option, of course. He's opened up a 40-metre gap back to Med. Looks like Med is just going to be happy. Currently taking second place, it looks like. Yeah, right, Christoph, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out between Med and Beams. Not only is they're doing well for the team competition, of course there is always individual glory available up for grabs. That last kilometre feels like it's gone pretty quick. Keeping an eye on that total clock, 23 minutes. Let's double check exactly what that time is that these riders are chasing down. So yeah, 1 minute 12:51. Robert Lyons in the midday slot. Christophe Fontaine watching in our live chat there. 1 hour 17 in the morning slot. Still a very respectable time. That puts him in third overall at the moment. 1 hour 12:51. Robert Lyons. That's who we are keeping an eye on at the target time. See Danae here keeping it up above 5. Very strong. Going to drop back here to Med. He's not waiting for beams. They're not working together just yet. The gap is coming down slowly, 40 metres. Not sure there's much point at this stage in these two necessarily working together. Tomorrow is a rest day, as is Saturday. And these two might get a little bit of benefit working together on these flatter sections. You can see them coming up with pale orange. But Danae's got 100 metres now. These guys are comfortably ahead of Williamson, so let's just drop back through the field. There's Williamson. 370 metres behind Beams at the moment. Still 4 kilometres to go. Those two sort of matching their power output at the moment by the looks of things. Williamson just keeping in front of Caruso. And there's Blodgett then up to 6th. We've been sort of keeping an eye on him, talking about his progression through the field. 250 metres to Caruso. That's possible, I'd say. Blodgett up at above 5 watts per kilo. 400 watts. Caruso 4.3 watts per kilo. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one as the race approaches the summit of today's climb. Roy Neal there, just holding on, 30 metres back. That gap is slowly stretching. Roy just needs to make sure that he's not going to blow up. He doesn't want to overcook it, chasing Blodgett. And risk losing the spot behind to Christophe. Christophe's teammate, I should say. Jürgen Janssen a bit further back, and then Walter Tace. Getting more muddled up there, wasn't I? So Neil doing well, just holding it at 30 metres to Blodgett. You can see a little bit further back down the place. There he is. 100 metres behind Neil. 90. Ahead of this man, Jürgen Janssen. She's got Keith Edgerton, Paul Newton and Peter Brookrubble just behind him. Janssen was at the back of that group, so he's pulled away at the moment. We saw him earlier, he was in 11th place. He's currently up to 9th. That means that the 3 pedallers, 3 best placed pedallers, are ahead of the 3 best placed STW riders. That's looking good for them on today's stage. We see a battle behind from Brookrubble, Newton and Keith Aitchison. Looks like Keith slowly just out the back of these 2 at the moment. Looking fairly comfortable. Back to Schneever, Simons. Schneever, Simons, Cabramanca just behind here, the Portuguese rider. Greg Barnett. 40 metre gap over Timo Achenbach. Isidoro just behind. So a few close competitions on the road then. We drop back. Vermont and Neugebauer. Hustle and Vermont. And Neugebauer overtaking Van der Beer. Making some moves. So here's Austin, he was back with Moat. Putting a nice effort to put out 400 metres over Moat. With Moat then, 3 Huge with Krajewski, who's now 300 metres behind. So those three, Austin, Moat and Krajewski, really being blown apart on this climb. Back to the front then. And Dene here, 250 metres ahead now of Med and Beams. 2 kilometres to go. He's going to be comfortably inside that 1 hour 12 minutes as things stands, I would suggest. And Beams and Med here come together, riding along comfortably at 4 watts per kilo. I think they have just eased up a little bit. Probably looked at the leaderboard. Know that they're sitting fairly comfortably. They've done a good job today for the team. Got that 330 metre lead over Williamson. They know they can respond if they need to. They start to get the slightly flatter-ish. I'll say that we just hit a slight 11% section as we round that corner, but see there's the finish line up there somewhere. See just at the top of the screen, just about to break that horizon line, we can see Dene up the road. I think this has improved on RGT recently, the graphics in terms of the draw distance, to how far you can see. It used to be around about 100 metres. You can see riders up the road. Now we're looking at 300 metres. Now we're around the corner, but these two are about to round that corner as well, so really does give you a sense of perspective. Shows just how far you've got ahead of you to go. We look back down here, we won't. There we go, we can just see a rider. That will most likely be Williamson. Drop back the camera. Here's Williamson, we'll repeat that shot. There we can see Med and Beams up ahead, 300 metres up the road. Alright, back to the front then. 1.2k to go. There's the Flamme Rouge, the red kite, signifying 1k to go. Dene is going to take the win today. Very strong performance by him. He comes up to that red kite. I mentioned over on the other channel, so to speak, the PRT handicap, been covered live by Riley Harvey. That is a regular event every Thursday at 7 PM. Then the REAC series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Get your fitness on, get some coaching advice. Monday's a group ride with a Q&A. Tuesday, that's a stretching session. Then Wednesday is more of a workout session. Hot crit every other Wednesday. It's a fast, flat 30-minute crit race. Pretty flat up here at the top of the mountain. Not sure if this is quite the actual summit of this climb in Lake Como in Italy. I say it's flat. It could just, of course, be the generic RGT terrain. As Med and Beams come up now to the Flamme Rouge. And here's Danae. Onto this flatter section then, right at the top, eases up for the last 500 metres or so. Here's a little bit orange, not so red. 350 metres to go to the finish. We'll watch Danae cross the line and then we'll stick around and see some of these battles slightly further back to see how it shakes out on the road. Oh, look at that, it kicks up again. The red gradient, 6-7%. Just as we come up to the finish line then. There it is, just round the corner. You're almost there, Danae. Last little push. There we go, congratulations. Right, Beams and Med. Are we going to see anything from these two? Are they going to give us a little bit of team competition, team fun? Are they going to fight it out? Or are we just going to see some very controlled team riding and conserving energy as these two come up to the finish line? Is one of them going to attack Beams, easing off slightly? Med comes round. 300 metres. There's bragging rights on offer here. Oh, looks like they're both up in the pace a little bit. And Med into the red. Pulling away. He's saying, I'm not going to risk losing those 10 points to Beams. He might be my teammate for the team competition, but still got the individual to pay for. Med wants it. As he opens up a little gap here to the finish then. Round the final bend. It's going to be the Swede, Henrik Med. A little salute for the camera as he crosses the line. John Beams rolls over in third. Jonty Williamson then, in the end, 550 metres back. Currently, as those two cross the line, that gap has opened up. But again, I think perhaps Jonty just watching himself, knowing that there's more stages to come. All right, let's cut across, get the results on screen. You can watch these as they come in. Arnaud Danae. Not Arnaud Demer, the pro cyclist, but Danae then. 1 hour, 1 minute. As we said, comfortably within that 1 hour and 12 minutes. Just over the 5 watts per kilo threshold. We'll talk about that in a moment as Williamson comes round. Nice to see Danae there, have a nice little chat with Med and Beams as Williamson crosses the line to take a solid 4th place. And here's Caruso. He's going to take 5th place for Team ADR, the Italian team. What a solid ride by him, who rode a lot of that race on his own. So let's drop back to Dave Blodgett, which is quite apt really. Speak about verification, as mentioned, Danae there was just over the 5 watts per kilo average. for the race. That being the general benchmark for the Ride Fair initiative on RGT. So if you see riders going over 5 watts per kilo for events, then generally they will be asked to provide performance verification. That's to show that they are legitimate riders, because we don't want riders on miscalibrated equipment or misleading about their weight, winning races and ruining the fun. I mentioned Dave Blodgett here because he has developed a analysis tool for dual recording. So that's when you use your trainer, one power source, and then you may have some power meter pedals, or in your crank, you use that as a second source. So they're completely independent, and then you use Dave's tool to combine and compare the results to show that they are comparable. It's not a dodgy power meter. If the two are within a couple of percent, then generally it's regarded they are legitimate. It's when one is 5 or 10% more that it's not really acceptable. That can happen if you're on poorly calibrated rollers or a wheel-on trainer. This Dave here comes across for 6th place. Managed to hold off Roy Neild. Finishing strong though, 8 watts per kilo as he comes round to the line. Well, you can see the speed he was carrying there, straight past everybody. Henrik Med staying in the event there just to cheer on Jürgen Janssens, his compatriot. I'm sure he'll be cheering on Neugebauer a little bit further back, their teammates. So Claes here, he's holding off Brookwavel and Newton. And interestingly here, Keith Aitchison. Maybe was he further back? I'm sure he was up here with Brookwavel and Newton in that little group. He seems to have disappeared off the rider list. I hope that's not been an issue for Keith. That is going to be not good for the SDW team. As Claes finishes, and then here's Brookwavel coming around behind him. And Newton's going to be our first rider for Team 3R. So he's going to cross the line to take 10th. That will round out our top 10. And like I say, oh, there's Keith down in 15th. So perhaps a technical there for Keith. Skip past Calcano because he's not in a true position there. He's been jumping around as we see Jürgen Janssens then fighting for position against Simons. They come round that corner. He's going to hold on and take 12th place. Well done. So that's the 3rd rider across the line for the pedalers. Janssens just ahead of Simons. Here's Kavramanka. He's 180 meters from the line. There's Keith. Looks like his power history for the last few minutes has certainly been steady. So we'll try and catch up with Keith. Looks like good suffering has been happening there from Blodgett and Claes, Neild, all living their post-race stories there. As we watch Kavramanka here coming round across the finish line. Get a nice close up of the finish line there. So here's Keith. Looks like he's maybe just settled there for that position. Oh, Simon's there saying he's also done the Classique de Judy. So 2 big races today. It's a strong effort by him doing those 2 races today. Blodgett there averaging 4 watts per kilo, so maybe it was just a slow start. He certainly worked his way up the field during that climb as Keith then comes across 15th place and the 3rd placed SDW rider. So we'll see how it all shakes out in the team competition. Schneever finishing strongly. He's had a nice steady climb. In and around a few riders. Comes across 16th. And here's Timo and the Moonriders. He's going to be coming across in 17th, ahead of Barnett, and then Isidoro, third Moonrider on the road today, down in 19th. Looks perhaps like Keith just didn't quite have the legs this evening. Stick with his STW teammates there. So here's Barnett. And then a little bit further down, Fussell and Simon Miller. So 6 STW riders in this evening slot. So let's have a little look, see if I can get you. I can. Updated individual leaderboard. So top 5. Henrik Maerd currently leading the golden jersey, taking 2nd place today. That's given him a good boost. Lorenzo Simons in 2nd. We saw him there saying that he's done 2 races today, only scoring 133 points today. So that has cost him. He's 57 points behind Maerd, with great big lead for Maerd at the moment. John Beams in 3rd place, 180 points today. Walter Claes in 4th, 448 points, just 7 points behind Beams there. Rocket Roy Neild, 5th place, doing well today, 160 points, 432 overall. So that's your top 5 on the golden jersey. And the Team GC, so the Peddlers, 1,411 points. They've opened up a 70-point gap against the STW Lunatics, who are currently on 1,342. So all the results are available on the RGT DB website. As I'm reading those out, we've seen a couple more riders cross the line. So here's Vermont down in 20th. And looks like he has dropped Fussell. Those two were riding together for a little while. So 250 metres to go for Vermont. We'll then quickly shoot down the leaderboard. And then I will head off. So all of these riders, top 20 here, finishing inside that lunchtime time from Robert Lyons. So not looking good for Team 3R at the moment. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate your company. Thanks for getting involved in the live chat there, Christoph and Anders there from Sweden. The riders waving on the road as well. Rob Miller getting involved early on as well. Seeing what he's got to come later on in the evening slot. So good luck, Rob. As Julian Fussell comes across to be the 5th STW. They've certainly come out in force. There we go. Oh, there's Austin. He's certainly zoomed up this climb. He was back with Christian Mote there. You can see him on the leaderboard down in 26th. They were riding together at the base of this climb, and Austin's put in 1,100 metres into him. Looks like he's going to beat Van der Peer to the top. Neugebauer, the 4th peddler on the road. The Slovenian Grauf. Christian Mote. He's going to be our 2nd 3R rider on the road. So they're still in the team hunt with 3 riders finishing today. He's staying ahead of Koenig here. These riders still got about a mile to go, 1.7 kilometres. Stellare from RGT Sweden. Currently 40 metres ahead of Alex Plager. Spin around, we can see a few riders here on the road. I do like these aerial shots where you can see the riders spread out. You can see here Plager behind. And just behind him we've got Skater Gabe. Simon Miller, 6th STW rider on the road. Here they are then. There's Miller. Brzezinski's not enjoyed this climb. There's Dickerson. Mr. Edie. Matthias Fishback. Having a nice steady ride. Scene flattens out. Matthias, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving us a few waves as well. Give you a little close up here. There we go. I'm going to stop distracting you now. Here's Sunneval from RGT Sweden. And then we've got Bailey from the ladies competition. And here's our final rider on the road. I'm not going to count myself because I won't be finishing today. Here's Young. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This mountain stage of the Moonriders tour. We've got the VCN Championships coming up at the weekend, so I don't think we'll be covering Moonriders on Sunday, but we will be covering those VCN Championship races, so please do have a little look out for those. And yeah, got a little video for this. The VCN Champs then, all a bit of fun, race against your compatriots, and the winners will go through to the World Championship a week on Sunday. So we'll be bringing that live on VCN. But that's been the Moonriders Tour, episode 2. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you all again very soon here on VCN.